Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Timothy Adon, composer by day, gamer by night, and welcome to my first audio workshop. This is going to take place in the program iZotope Iris, and today we are going to make a random sound effect. Nothing specific. I didn't have any plans when I recorded this other than to make something. So I started off with the Marble Mush Short, which is a sound effect that comes with iZotope Iris, and it's the sound of you mushing marbles in your hand. So a very weird, grating, stretching sound. I'm just gonna go through, and the entire point of this is to take sounds that are easily accessible to you and turn them into something that's not easily accessible. So, in this case, taking something like mushing marbles in your hand, and I'm going to turn it into something else. And as I start to realize after I recorded this is that the sound of mushing marbles is actually kind of terrifying and grating. So if you haven't seen my previous video on iZotope Iris, how it works is from the bottom up is frequency, from the left to right is time, and the brightness of the blue equals velocity. And so the software allows you to make selections of frequencies, and then, like I'm doing with the eraser right now, cut out certain frequencies you don't want, or select frequencies you do want, and basically turn it into something completely different. So you can already tell from the first time I played the marble sound that it sounds absolutely nothing like it originally sounded. And that's the goal. So I'm taking these mushy marble and turning it into something absolutely terrifying. So in this case, it kind of sounds like mushing and breaking and stretching of bones and flesh. I know that sounds gory. And so all of these are recorded using my little H1 hand recorder. Or actually, okay, this sound is not. As I said, this sound comes from iZotope Iris, but you can take your own sounds and put them in the software, and you'll actually see in a little bit that I do that. And so I take a little H1 hand recorder, and I go out and I record sounds, and then I shape them into however I want, or I keep them as is. And so this software ends up being very dynamic and useful for a whole lot of different things. You can make pads out of this. You can make sound effects. My most notable sound effect, which is on my website if you want to go look, is my ship on the water. And it's three distinct sounds, one being ocean waves, one being a creaking ship, and the other being a ringing bell on the ship. And the three sounds used to make that is scraping the top of my foot on the surface of snow as the ocean waves, the creaking of my chair as the creaking ship, and a glass bowl for the bells. Obviously, you can go online and get them, just like buy those sounds for like $1 each, but what's the fun in that? So, right now I have been making selections into the frequencies, um, removing key portions of selections, and right now I'm actually removing some of the the more black portions, and those are the quieter parts, where the frequencies aren't necessarily being as loud as the brighter frequencies. And so I'm just kind of cutting out all the excess noise that is not needed. And something else that the software does is it matches the volume of your selection to the volume of the overall piece. So more the more fine the selection, the louder that specific portion is going to be in comparison to the rest of the sample, which is why I removed the entire bass portion, so that since it wasn't really doing anything anyways, I could get rid of it and increase the overall volume without actually giving it any gain. So now that I've got the mushing, smashing, and stretching sound out of the way, I'm looking for another sound with which to add to it. Nothing in particular, just something that I feel would go very well, mostly in the realm of tones. A creepy tone that I can slice up. And I find it in the form of Big Bell Verb, which I think stands for Big Bell Reverb. And you can see the bright lines are more straight, basically saying that there's actual straight up frequencies as opposed to just kind of random grinding sounds. And so something like this is easier to make a pad out of, because it has actual tonal characteristics that allowed it to be played by itself and make different notes out of that are actually distinguishable. Let's see, selecting a single frequency, or set of frequencies rather. And then cut off the end so that I don't have as much quiet time towards the end there. And I have it set to forward and backwards so that when I play the sample, it'll go forward. When it hits the end, it'll replay backwards. Like so. Now I have a creepy, high-pitched pad that goes along very nicely with my crushing and stretching of bones. And then I turn the retrigger off on the marble mushing so that no matter what note I play, as long as I'm playing contiguously, the marble mushing will just continue going without starting over again. And that allows me to play tones like this. And now for the third sound. So the reason I'm doing a commentary like this instead of a live commentary like I would like to do was I made the brilliant idea of going down to my living room to do recording, because there were people down there and I wanted to, you know, not be by myself while I recorded. And although the one or two people that were down there were quiet, the lovebird that I have was intelligent and knew that I was trying to get something done and kept on being her cute little self. And as adorable as it was not conducive to doing live commentary. So, right here is a sound that I recorded. That is the sound of me blowing into a magazine. If you take a magazine, close it up, and put one corner of it in your mouth, and then blow with the pages. The pages will vibrate and squeak and make that sound. And I figured that was perfect. It would sound like a monster was breathing in terrifying fashion. So now it just comes down to making the proper frequency selections. So this program also comes with pre-done patches, pads and sound effects and stuff, so that you kind of have examples to go off of. Listen to how terrifying that is. It's amazing what you can do with a magazine, a bell, and a handful of marbles. And that's kind of the beauty of this kind of work. Sculpting sound to do your bidding. Kind of made two different analogies there, but you get my point. And then you can save any patches that you make and save them for later. Like, I didn't really have a plan for this. I didn't even know I was going to make this until I was done. And so now I have that for later. I can use it for whatever project ends up warranting a creepy sound such as that. So now that I have an informed decision of what it is that I want to do, like, that was creepy, but I have other ways that I can do that. And now I go about making more fine selections, so that I have a little bit more space in between each breath, allowing it to be a little bit more slow and sinister. This is what it sounds like without pitch change. The original sound sample, with frequency selections, of course. And that is with the pitch shift. And now, just to go through and muddy up the sounds a little bit. The little bit of frequency slicing, nothing mathematical, no specific frequencies, just kind of move it around a little bit. Suction sound, make it separate. That's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. You can look forward to a lot more of this in the future. And I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.